Okay, here we're going to get a bit more serious, if that's a possibility. I don't want to be too serious with the wealth creation because I'm not really a serious person. I write a lot of books on humour, developing the world, social interaction, and I've always got to have a laugh in it. I can't really look at people that seriously. When I used to run a business a few years ago, well, it's quite a lot of years now, I used to be in a big boardroom meeting and I could not help but see the humour in what people were saying. They were all serious, trying to get ahead. That's not a problem, but you have to step back sometimes and go, yeah, but this is really funny. It's really quite weird. And have that sense of humour. Because if you want to get on in life, you've got to kind of step back and say, it isn't that important. It's not that crushing. Whatever situation you're in, right now you might be just thinking, I've got to pay some bills and I've got to get out of the shit that I'm currently in. I remember years ago, I remember when I was in Los Angeles, I was about 29 and I was living on Venice Beach and I couldn't pay the rent. And I was walking along and they had this like pizza booth. You don't go inside, you just have the pizza booth outside and you buy a pizza. And they were cutting up the pizzas in 8 sort of slices of 8. And I only had enough money for a slice of 8. And the guy asked me, well, what topping do you want on it? And I said, well, what's it going to cost? And he said, there's a few cents extra. I didn't have the few cents extra to put that on top of my 8th slice of pizza. That afternoon I was queuing up down with all the homeless people trying to get some food and got turned away at that because I didn't look like I was homeless. But I could have sure done with a meal right there and then. When I looked at that situation and I look back at it and I laugh, and I was laughing at the time, I thought it was really funny. I got a cup of tea from them, funnily enough, and they did give me a cup of tea, and I was walking down the street and then this guy came up to me and he said, have you got any change, mate? And he was obviously looking to use the change to either buy alcohol or have some drugs. I really don't know. And I said, what do you want? Oh, it's just a cup of tea, he said. He said, I said, well, my drink was half empty, and I said, well, you can have mine, and I gave it to him. And he kind of looked at it like I'd killed his unborn children or something like that. It was one of those moments that you find in life that you kind of like. It is a serious moment in certain ways, but you've also got to look at the funny side, and you can't help but do that. Now, the wealth creation system is going to teach you how to do that. And if you read some of my books, you can't help but look at them and go, wow, how did he say that? Why did he say that? And what it is I'm trying to give you the understanding that you don't have to be pushed down by this layering system in our society which says you've got to do this or you've got to do that to be this or be that. And without achieving these things, you can't be happy. You can't laugh. I just wanted to tell you that, I've been in the situation where, I've had no money. And I've been there many times. I've had lots and lots of money, and then I've been right to the bottom again. And I'm seriously saying right to the bottom. I remember I was running this company, and I had, it must have been about 200 people working in this company, and I was part of a team, and it for whatever reason it went belly up, and about 6 months later, I actually ended up working for one of the guys who was running a street canvassing team. I got a job with him because I needed the money. So I'd gone from right at the top, right to the bottom, but it didn't matter because it's a bit like Snakes and Ladders. If you've ever played the game, I'm not sure if it's an English game or it came from Asia or wherever it came from. But if you're in America, you might not know it. You go along and you go up the ladder and then you hit a snake when the dice hits the wrong one and you go down again. You've got to be resilient in both times. And when I was a kid, I used to read this poem. It was in the loo. My parents had it. And, when you're sitting there contemplating the motions of life, so to speak, I used to see this little poem in a little frame. And it was If by Rudyard Kipling. And it kind of made a real impression on me. It meant that whatever happened in life, it wasn't about what was happening there and then. It was about what your potential was and how you reacted to that. That's what made you a person. That's what made the person you really were. It said, you're a man, my son. But it wasn't about that for me. It was, you're a human being. And that's the key to the wealth creation system. It's trying to access the real you inside of you. Give you the money to be that real you. Because without money, you're going to go it's my environment, which is fact. Your environment determines your mental state. If you're sitting in a flat right now and you've got no money, well, you know, you're going to be a little depressed. And that environment, you might want to get out and you want to make yourself feel better, and you look on the internet trying to find a way to make money from nothing because you've got no money. And I can empathize with that. We've all been there. Well, many people haven't actually. That wasn't particularly true. Many people I meet have never been there and will never appreciate your situation. I do, and I understand it fully. And you know, you can go on the internet and you can say, well, I could do this binary trading, or I could do shares, or I could do a bit of online trading, and I could work my way up. You could, and that is a first step, but a lot of these things aren't going to work out for you. And what I've created here is something that will work out for you, because it'll work with you in all sorts of ways. And I wanted to make it so you could get involved at a very minimum cost. And also what I wanted to do was share that money with you. Okay, now this is the first time this has ever been done, and I don't want you to get the wrong idea, because I'm not going to explain it in detail right now, but what I do is I allow you to actually take part and actually share in the wealth creation of the actual whole program itself. And so it doesn't matter whether you're sitting in a room and you haven't got much money. If you get on the system, you start at the beginning, then you're going to go ahead. And I guarantee you'll find that life changes for you. So I'll see you in the next video.